So I'm here to talk to you about something kind of serious. I mean, a lot of you know me from my stories, kind of as a prankster, jokester, which I am, obviously. But this is kind of a serious problem, and it rears its ugly head in a variety of different fashions. Wilhelm Reich in the 30s defined it. Wilhelm Reich was Sigmund Freud's most brilliant student. He identified a certain type of maliciousness, a certain type of hatred that the majority of us are infected with on a certain level, and it's been the cause of millions of death, uh, be it in religious fashion like the Inquisition, or be it in war. Um, it presents itself in a variety of different ways, even to something as that you would consider to be minute, like a fellow coworker who's jealous of you will go and snitch you out to the boss man and even make up lies to get you fired. That's what I'm talking about. It's called the emotional plague. And again, there's varying degrees of it, but most of us are affected with it to some degree or the other. I actually went through what was used to be called organ therapy, which is now, I believe, is called biopsychiatric therapy, to free myself of this. And I did this for a couple of years. Was released and deemed a healthy individual, which I don't really consider myself to be healthy. But I will tell you this: um, this problem is rampant. Is rampant. It's I don't have the time to identify and describe how it manifests, but it does, and it is basically the fear of life. Unfortunately, most societies, in fact, almost all, we are born with certain concepts. Yes, I mean, on a religious front, you call it sin. There's a conflict. It's a conflict of how we normally feel and how we normally approach the world, and the restrictions that are placed upon us, which we internalize as fear of indulgence. This is a serious problem over time that turns into a certain type of maliciousness, what Wilhelm Reich described as the emotional plague. And it not only fosters and harbors a maliciousness, but it's deadly. I mean, not only does it produce certain physical ailments that are well documented, but it also harbors and fosters certain types of like religious fanaticism, hatred for sexuality, and basically what it is it's a fear of life. It's a fear of life, and it's a fear of pleasure. And if somebody senses who harbors those types of that type of maliciousness, the emotional plague, if they feel or sense that you are a person who is living, if you are a living, healthy, breathing animal, then you are a target. You are a target. You are a target because it reminds them of their misery. It reminds them of their hatred for life. And it's a very serious problem, and is responsible for the countless millions, and I say millions, I mean millions of people. Everything from some of the more obvious ones, or like uh, the 9 million people that were legally documented to be put to death for witchcraft and heresy of the church, racial hatred. I mean, the list goes on and on. Those are more obvious things, but when you look at somebody and they have that fake smile and those fake bleached white teeth, you can still see it in their eyes if you're in tune, if you're in touch with it. Um, it's something that I'm going to talk about in more detail at the Left Hand Path Consortium, but it is a serious problem, and it affects pretty much everybody and everybody around you. I would suggest you read, if you're interested in this, books by Wilhelm Reich. Specifically, I would start with a book called Listen, Little Man. I would also start with a book called Character Analysis, which is a pretty beefy book. Take you a while to thumb through that shit. But either way, familiarize yourself, because, you know, I don't believe in coexistence. There isn't. There is no coexistence, and the reason being is certain people, regardless of their race, regardless of their religion, their affliction is too deep, and they would just as soon see you fucking burn at the stake. People like myself, a lot of people watching this, 300 years ago, would not only be burned at the stake, but there'd be a mob of people clapping and applauding and cheering as your flesh burns off your bones. That's only 300 years ago, guys. That's not very long. Okay, it is real, and in the shadow of recent shit going on with so-called ISIS and terrorist attacks, you're about to see shit fucking hit the fan again. All of it is related. It's not necessarily, this party's fault, this religion's fault, anything like that. But religious, zealots and the Inquisition wasn't that long ago, guys. Only 5, 6, 7 generations. Still here. It just took a break. It's coming back. And you have to be prepared, and make no mistake. If you are inflicted with the emotional plague, regardless of your race, regardless of your religion, you are my enemy. There's no more fucking taking the defense. There's no more taking a defense, a back seat, and just trying to survive, just trying to protect yourself. Not anymore. At least not in my life. I'm not going to. I hope you guys are with me, but I'm going on the offense. And if I see you as somebody that hates life, that hates happiness, that oppresses and hates people for having so-called alternative sexualities, you're my enemy. And guess what? I'm not content with just simply defending myself and avoiding you. Those days are done. We do not have to hide in caves anymore. And you will not burn me at the stake, or you might. It's possible. But make no mistake, I am your fucking enemy. This is the face of your enemy. And there are many other faces. And coexistence, no. I'm not going to coexist with people that would want to see me die, would kill me if it was permitted. There is no coexistence. This is war. This is the ugly face of war.